The Minecraft world record you're watching right now was said to be impossible to break. You see, up until a few days ago, it was said that 3.9 was the human limit for Minecraft bridging. However, one player took it upon himself to prove everyone wrong and decided to go for 3.85. And of course, we're talking about none other than the #1 bridger in Minecraft history, doogile. Doogile has a history of breaking more Minecraft bridging world records than any other player to this day. But even with a track record that good, how exactly did he go about beating an allegedly impossible world record? Well, this is the story of 3.85. For a long time, records in the Minecraft bridging community were broken on a weekly and sometimes even daily basis. However, this has come to a stop as players have now mastered the fastest possible strategies and there are very few mechanics the community has yet to learn. Over the past 6 months or so, the world record on mcplayhd.net has changed by a mere 0.15 seconds, moving from 4.0 to the very recent 3.85. To put that into perspective, here's just how fast 0.15 seconds really is. 6 months of progress, all for that? Despite this, players are still actively coming up with new strategies that can get comparable times or are potentially even faster than 3.85, but I'll explain more on that later. As I mentioned before, 4.0 seconds was the longest standing world record in this category and originally thought to be the final time. But this quickly changed with the development of two new strategies. Firstly, a change in momentum allowed for players to bring their times down by a tick, getting a 3.95, which quickly turned into 3.9 seconds due to the head hitter that you can build at the end of your island to shave off 3 pixels of distance. More recently, the concept of a 45 strafe was theorized to be useful, however, while this is true, the 45 strafe only saves around a pixel of distance at very best, and with its immense difficulty to pull off properly, it's barely worth it to attempt. The only real use for it comes in a unique way to do a different head hitter, but I'll let doogile explain that in the interview later in the video. On top of this, several other new mechanics were discovered, all promising sub 4 times, but none that promised a world record. The only strategy that was theorized to get 3.85 at the time was a 1.054 block flat, which is the fastest but most difficult way to start off your bridge and is something that no current player is capable of doing consistently. I'd like to mention that as of right now, the 1.054 block has not been implemented into any world records, meaning that at the very least we can get a 3.8, and going even further than that, it's looking like chained 4 block flats are going to be the next wave of Minecraft bridging, as chaining more than one of these at the very beginning of your bridge instead of only one will allow for players to get a time of 3.8 seconds at best. Both the 1.054 block and the chained 4 block tellies are something that players are not able to do consistently at the moment, but with the track record of bridging players improving super quickly, it's likely that we'll see these being implemented into a lot of bridges very soon. Considering all of this, the best possible strategy for bringing the time down to 3.85 was simply a change in momentum. When you hear this term momentum being thrown around, all it really means is that his turns, keystrokes, and timings were absolutely perfect in every aspect of his speed tellies. To understand exactly what was going on in Doogile's mind a little bit better, I decided to hit him up for an interview to see exactly how he pulled off the world record and to figure out what exactly he has planned for the future in order to improve this time to potentially even 3.8. And really quickly before we move on to the absolutely insane interview, I just want to say if you're enjoying the video, please do consider subscribing because we're getting so close to 30k, which is just absolutely insane. But for now, let's see what Doogile has to say. So let's start off by talking about your theories for how you originally thought you were going to get 3.85.
The first idea I had for like maybe 3.85 was like this weird setup that you can do to get extra momentum at the beginning. This allows you to do a 5 block flat instead of a 4 block flat, which is what you usually do.
And what about the double head hitter? Did you ever think of that as a possibility?
Like, there's just straight up, you don't have room for it. Like, you barely even have enough room to do 1 head hitter, so there's no way you have enough to do 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you want to talk about 45 strafes for like the clutch momentum maybe?
Like, a lot of people think that 45 strafe saves like more time than it actually does. Like, especially on short mode, it barely does anything. It's like, I think when I was testing it, it saved like 1 pixel if you do like a perfect 45 strafe.
Really, 1 pixel?
And it does help with like the L clutch. So for the L clutch, you 45 strafe, you do a no clutch, and then as you're falling for the no clutch, you place these 4 blocks, and then you can do a little head hitter right here. So like this is a strat for 3.85, but slab is just easier.
So like now that you have 3.85, what are your next steps, and do you think there's a human limit that we're reaching at this point?
It is definitely beatable. You just have to do like a 1.05 flat. After that, like, I don't know if anyone will ever beat 3.8 or like if that's even humanly possible.
You heard it here first. 3.8 is the final time that anyone will ever get in this Minecraft category. Years of development and bridging have led up all the way until this very moment, and now the race has begun to see who will finally get the last world record. It's crazy that through practice and determination we can refine a Minecraft skill to the extent where it can never be beaten again and get the final ever time. And speaking of final things, we are on the final stretch to 30k subscribers on YouTube, so if you'd like to help out, I really would appreciate if you did subscribe. But with that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.